record. All right, so just FYI, folks, I am hitting record. This will be recorded and will be sent to my machine. I don't know if it's going to be sent over to the cloud, but if it does, cool. If it doesn't, I'll give you all a heads up. And as a friendly reminder too, around 4:15, 4:20 on my end, Eastern time, my son arrives, so I will be obviously running upstairs real quick, getting him in through the door, checking he's okay, and then running back down. It'll be probably like a quick 5-minute run. So I'm in my gremlin basement area. You guys can't see it because I blurred it out, but hot mess of a mess. Anywho, all right, so going back to the background and information here. So obviously we are part of the CyberSec team of Secure Tech Solutions. We're a leading provider of the IoT devices and AI-driven applications. The company has recently faced a serious cyber incident where you are working with your colleagues and you're talking to Alex, a senior CyberSec analyst, as well as Jamie, a network second engineer, to address the crazy wild psychedelic situation that's going on. Things that making things trippy. So it's obviously a Monday morning. You receive the call from Alex. Hey, need you to come into the SOC. We have a bit of a situation, a bit of a crisis. So you rush over to the Security Operations Center, or SOC. That's what it basically means. Alex and Jamie are pretty much over their gremlin style over a computer and looking at a couple of things and trying to see what's going on. We have multiple IoT devices acting up. They're sending data to an external IP that we don't recognize, and some of the blockchain records have been tampered with. And Jamie says that's not all. The EDR. And if any of you know what does EDR stand for, rapid fire. Let's see who got it. Nice. Good job, Eddie. Yep, exactly that. Endpoint detection and response. Look at that. Yep. And as it trickles in like waterfalls. Nice. Good job, folks. All right. So our EDR system has detected an AI driven malware on several endpoints and exploiting vulnerabilities faster than we can catch them and patch them, right? So obviously from the initial observations, Alex already gave you the understanding of the situation. There's IoT device behavior, data exfiltration, endpoint compromises, as well as blockchain manipulation and disabled antivirus, which is obviously the worst of the worst situations. Never fun. So that sounds serious, you say, of course, with the first move. So Alex says first we need to isolate the affected devices and the systems as well to prevent further data exfiltration. So Jamie needs to handle something else on the network side, right? So she's going to, I don't know if it's a she or a he, so there's no explanation for that. So I'm going to assume it's a she. But Jamie says, I'm on it. I'll start isolating the compromised devices immediately. Alex says, meanwhile, we need to analyze the indicators of compromise, or IOCs, and figure out how this breach happened. And we need to dive into the EDR logs and network traffic. So you are going to do that. That's what you're going to start reviewing the EDR logs for any patterns and or anomalies. Anomalies. I'm starting to sound like Nemo from Finding Nemo, right? All right. So,
question, Matthew.
Sure. What's up?
In this instance, when we're cybersecurity engineers and we're going through the logs, should we also be well versed in knowing how to isolate this, or is that more of a Cisco CCNA networking part? What are your suggestions? I climb the water. You would think if someone called you, all right, great, I can isolate it, I'm going through the logs. Or is that just part of divide and conquer strategy?
Usually it's best to divide and conquer. It will depend on the experiences that you have. In my perspective, and from my experiences too, whenever we've had to do anything like this on the cybersecurity side of things, mind you, it was more MSP for me. I would have to figure out where the breach began. And I would basically dive into email logs because that's where most of the things that I had to deal with resided in. So email security, figuring out who sent what or who clicked on what email or when the email came in for them to immediately click on it. And then the entire network or entire system got affected. And now they have ransomware or they have some sort of type of thing that's affecting them and therefore causing this big outage or problem for the company, right? So depending on your experience in whatever, part of it, whether it's a networking project of like, hey, I can set up firewalls and change the input outputs for this network switch, or creating VLANs and then knowing what the network traffic is going to be like on a day-to-day basis for this company or that company. It just depends on the experience that you have based off of that, what you've been thrown into, and then how you apply it to doing this kind of thing. Now, asking me in a personal sense, it's more of the divide and conquer. What you're good at is what you're going to dive into and focus on when things like this arise, versus having to try to dip your foot into each and every single item. It's going to cause you to go crazy, stir crazy. Like I can tell you that right now, because I did that once and I looked at everybody going, okay, take me out of 6, 7, and 8 queues now.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome. Of course. So Alex says, let's break down the tasks. We need to analyze the IOCs, review EDR, network logs. So we already got that. Jamie's going to handle the network analysis and see if they can trace the external IP and focus on the EDR logs, which is your job, aka you part of the definition of security tech, right? So we need to start drafting the report, including our initial findings and recommendations, right? So again, initial findings and recommendations of what we need to do next. So what type of attack do you suspect occurred, and what is the potential impact on the organization's infrastructure as well as the data integrity? So what do you folks think that would be? Like what kind of information can we try to gather and pull just from what Alex and Jamie just pulled? And feel free to either unmute, throw it in the chat. If you've already typed out your answer, throw it in chat as well, or even just tell us off mic. Again, no judgment. There's no right or wrong answers here. More so, it's the way I can put it is hit the mark as close as you can. It doesn't have to be a bullseye, but if you hit the outer rings as close as you can to the mark, you're fine. All right, Filippo, you're my first victim for today. So it says here, so you're saying it looks like we're dealing with an AI-driven malware attack, messing with the IoT devices, causing data leaks, as well as tampering with blockchain. Yeah, that would probably be a good one. What about the type of compromise that we're having to deal with because of that? What would it be? Would it be a networking compromise, a system compromise? What type of compromise would it be? See, the way I would probably analyze it is I would have to think of, okay, well, there's data exfiltration. They already provided that. Where am I getting that information from, or where are they getting that from? As well as, what systems or what devices are being compromised, as well as the data integrity issues that we're experiencing, right? And then on top of that is the increased vulnerabilities. And see, Joshua, you're saying I was also thinking malware possibly breached through IoT on the network. That is also the case here. So you have to think that it's a sophisticated type of attack, right? So if it's so sophisticated, well, what's affecting this, or what's being affected on top of everything else that's there? Yes, that's actually a fairly good question. What are they after? That's something that you would have to ask yourself too when creating these type of reports, and also the recommendations of what to do to prevent it for future references. And then you're correct, people, that this could seriously mess with our data network and security overall. Most definitely. Ransom? Yeah, I mean, that is definitely something that could happen because of everything that's going on. They're attacking everything. Okay, boom, they drop in a ransomware. They lock all our files, encrypt them and such, and therefore nobody can access anything. I need 100,000 Bitcoin now in this wallet today. Otherwise, I erase your whole entire server. Or I cause your AI IoT devices to basically attack one another and die. See, one way that you put it is, is, let's see, for data exfiltration, you could say that the unauthorized transfer of sensitive data to external entities is also risking the confidentiality, right? So Doug, you're saying maybe it's a spyware if it's infecting IoT devices, sending data to an unknown IP address. Exactly. That could be the possibility here, because that's what spyware is, right? We remember what the definition of spyware was. It's basically somebody throwing a piece of software or accessing your system using a malicious, infiltration method, and then therefore leaving their information or backdoor access to your system, and therefore gathering everything that they need to, reconnaissance per se. Does that kind of make sense for everybody? Awesome, awesome. Sweet, sweet, sweet. So anybody else have anything else to add here, or any other questions that they may have regarding this incident analysis question? And see, it looks like they're explaining vulnerabilities in our devices and blockchains. Yeah. That is also a good way of putting it too. So again, data exfiltration, system compromising, data integrity issues, and then you also have your increased vulnerabilities. That's correct, Eddie. The antivirus was disabled in the IoT devices. So that suggests a further risk of exposure, as well as any other additional malware that can attack and create more infection in the system. Data integrity, network, and input security again. Most sorry, yes. So with the data integrity, you have to think too. You also have unauthorized modifications to the blockchain transaction logs, as well as it can undermine the trust in any of the systems of data integrity. Oh, sweet Jesus. My apologies. My daughter figured out where the cookies are being held hostage. My daughter's down here with me. All right. I'm going to go ahead and move on to the next question. Is that okay with you all? Yes, Cannon. All right, cool. All right, so in the next question, you have to list the indicators of compromise for IOCs observed in this incident and correlate them with the known attack patterns involving AI and IoT devices, right? Come on, Zach. That one. Come on, give me. It's all open. Here you go. Data exfiltration to an external IP address. Yep, that would be one. But what would it be typical to, though, on that data exfiltration, Eddie? C2. You can also think data breaches when it comes to any type of breach of data exfiltration. Tampering with blockchain records. Yeah, blockchain tampering. That's one of them. Yes, very nice. Large volumes of data transferred to external locations. I mean, you would think so, in the sense of like the amount of data that's being consumed there and then transferred to the external IP. You would think that, but you also have to try to think of it in the sense of what's happening in that sense, like in that moment. What type of, as the question is asking you to indicate, you have to provide a list of what you've observed from this incident and correlate them to the type of attack patterns. So large volumes of data could indicate many things. Not just with the blockchain, not just with the data exfiltration, because those are your two big ones in a sense, right? But you also have to think, what about the disabled antivirus, the blockchain tampering that John Miguel already kind of gave us right there, right? As well as your EDR. What about EDR anomalies? What happened with EDR? Alex already mentioned it, right? That's why we're diving into the EDR logs, as again, John Miguel mentioned it right there. One other one you also have to remember, what about the abnormal IoT behavior? Alex mentioned it. Alex and Jamie, they were both hovered over that one little computer. They were little gremlins on that PC. You can say the connection issues too, but where would that tie into? Just the IoT devices, right? Yes, correct. Yeah. So that would be the abnormal behavior, right? Ooh, Filippo going with the big bulk. Here we go. All right, so Filippo, you said IoT you've seen include abnormal behavior. Yes, from IoT devices, unauthorized data being sent to an unknown external IP, AI-driven malware detected in the EDR logs, tampering blockchain records, and they fit with patterns where attackers exploit IoT vulnerabilities, leak sensitive data, and manipulate blockchain products. Ooh, I like the way you worded that. That's actually very nice. Great job. Nice. If you guys need a study partner, Filippo's available. Just saying. All right, all right. Anyone else? I'm gonna give it another like minute or two here. Anybody else? Feel free to again unmute, throw it in chat. If you've got an answer, go for it. Hit it as close to the mark as you can. Looks like everybody's doing really good. Providing the answers, their perspectives, and understanding of this. All right. All right. I'm gonna go ahead and move on to the next questions, and it looks like we got a discussion question. All right, you guys, we gotta talk about it. We gotta talk about it today. Bear with me here. That was odd. Sorry. I myself manage my network a little too close to home, literally, to where I keep an eye on my cameras and such. So I see who's on property, who's not on property, and who's doing what. So always staying secure in one way or another. All right. So discussion question here is: the Secure Tech Solutions is planning to deploy a threat intelligence platform, or a TIP (TIP). Evaluate the advantages of a TIP in enhancing the detection and response capabilities against sophisticated cybersecurity threats. So what would be the advantages of TIP? What do you folks think? I mean, yeah, threat landscape would be one. Automation would probably be good too, yes. But you have to think too, automation in the sense of IoT devices, wouldn't that be affected? What if the automation failed? Yeah. Remember, they're planning to deploy it. They haven't deployed it yet, but they're planning to. They just got to get all those ducks in order and try to figure out, okay, how are we going to do this? And how is it going to benefit the remainder of the company? So I'm going to circle back here on that one. So leading provider of IoT devices and AI-driven applications. That's what it is. That's what their industry is. So IoT and AI. Hope that helps, Joshua. Let's see. Ooh, Filippo going at it again with the big block of text. Let's go. Let's see. A tip can really boost our detection and response capabilities by gathering and analyzing threat data from different sources. Helps us respond faster with automated alerts and lets us focus on the biggest threats, making our cybersecurity efforts way more effective. That's very well thought out. So would that also include, or I would unplug anything that could safely unplug for some reason? I mean, to be fair, that would actually be a pretty well thought out idea. But then wouldn't you have to plug those guys back in order to ensure which devices are going to be affected, creating the methods to protect against those, right? But to kind of bounce with Filippo's answer here, so you would technically have something of a centralized data collection, right? You would have a way to have improved threat detection, right? As well as faster response times, and then lastly, a proactive defense as well as enhanced collaboration, right? So this would mean you would want to ensure that everybody's able to communicate fluidly. You would have to have somewhere where everything goes into a single funnel where everybody's getting the info. You're getting that info and therefore providing a faster response time in order to act on the attacks, right? So that would apply to almost anything nowadays, right? Or anybody else have anything? Maybe another way of wording it? Because word spaghetti is usually difficult to kind of type out sometimes, at least for me. And if not, I'm gonna pick on someone. All right, Joshua, you've saved yourself from falling grace of today. You have not become a victim of my questions. All right, Eddie, what about you? What's your perspective, bud? Oh, look at that. I ask and you provide. It provides crucial capabilities for understanding, anticipating, and responding to cyber threats in a timely and effective manner. Ooh, very prompt, very precise. I'm definitely not going to use the word very demure. Oh, I despise that. Everybody's trying to use that nowadays. All right. I'm going to move on to the next question. But if before I do, so the way I had mentioned it is exactly what I would say, right? That we would have to aggregate the threat data from multiple sources, or at least that's how it is. Like we would have to aggregate the threat data from multiple sources, and you would have to provide a comprehensive view of the threat landscape, right? On top of the with sorry, not on top of, but going on about that with the threat detection, we would have to leverage real-time data analysis and correlation to any of the emerging threats more quickly. Sorry, like I have my notes set up top so that way I can kind of like give you guys the way I have figured these answers out, so that we can kind of get the perspective from my view. So again, for the improved threat detection, you have to leverage the real-time data analysis and correlation to detect emerging threats more quickly. For faster response times, in the sense of enabling rapid identification and response to threats through the automated alerts and workflows, as well as proactive defenses, which would provide actionable intelligence that allows for proactive measures to prevent potential attacks. And then you have your enhanced collaboration, which would facilitate all the information that we're getting, sharing and collaborating across different teams. So with Alex and Jamie and yourself, you would basically have that information there. And then you also have the rest of the teams that are within the organization, and then that would help improve the threat intelligence. I hope that
Question,
helps.
sir.
Sure, go ahead.
I guess I'm having a brain fart. How does this tip framework differ from, say, utilizing a SIM or an IPS that can monitor these different behaviors? And I guess according to this layout, it doesn't say if any of those tools were being utilized. I guess we're just assuming that they were, and somehow those alerts that either came up weren't recognized, or they were recognized and there was no action taken. So does this tip kind of take the latest and greatest threats from the MITRE ATT&CK framework and VirusTotal and everything else, and so if it's all correlated and congregated into one platform, how does that differ from, again, utilizing an up-to-date SIM or an up-to-date IPS?
So, I mean, that is a fairly good question, especially as you're analyzing it in the sense of like, how would this be any different from the already present tools? So with TIP, you're generally using already the methods from all those other tools, bringing this into a more unique tool that you're creating, right? So you have to think too, if you're using a Rubik's Cube of ideas of, say, from the SIM, from a SOAR, or anything of that nature, and you're bringing it into just a single tool that you can use that uses those methods of protection or analysis or detection and such, then that's what you're going to be able to create a better tool for yourself and the rest of the company. As far as from my perspective of what I think this would be, it's just basically picking off the good things that you've noticed from different tools, putting it into a single box, creating it, and therefore, boom, there's your newfangled new toy that you just created that takes the best of every single world that you've invited yourself into, and therefore creating that protection system for the company, right? It's almost like creating your own programming scheme, right? You're pulling stuff from PowerShell, using Python, and then you throw it into a batch file. That batch file pulls from PowerShell, pulls from Python, pulls from whatever code structure, right? Does that kind of help or make sense?
That helps understanding. Yes, much more so. Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. All right. Let's see. Keep an eye on here. My front door camera. My son should be arriving soon, so it'll be a sprint to the finish line here. All right. Any other ideas, questions, thoughts, concerns, complaints? Awesome. All right, I'm gonna move on to the next question here. All right, so incident response questions. All right, so response question number 1: what immediate containment and mitigation steps would you take to isolate the infected systems and IoT devices and prevent further damage? It looks like Doug's question or answer here, where he would unplug anything that you could safely unplug, seems to be the more definitive answer on this portion. But what would be others, right? Find out the source, stop access, and destination containment. Very nice, very nice. Isolate compromised IoT devices by moving them to a separate VLAN or gapping the network. Block all outgoing traffic to identify external IP at the firewall level. Ooh, I like that. Quarantine any remaining infected endpoints. So Tamisha, that was really good. I like that. First, I cut off the infected systems and IoT devices from networks, stopping more data leaks, disabling internet access, full scans, malware, tightening security protocols. I like that. I like that. That's very good. What is that, Picasso? Sorry, I had to pull a meme here, but that's actually a really good one. Or what was the other one where the guy goes, nice. That's my other favorite. But yeah, I like that. That's actually a really good answer. And it's analyzing it from both outside in and inside out. Like, how would you expect the customer for us to protect it for future references, or how would you contain it and mitigate the process, right? So that's a very good way of putting it. So you identified isolating. I know that, Christian, you selected as well the same thing, and you also segmented it. Oop, bear with me, all right? I'll be right back. That took me less than 5 minutes, but I ran upstairs either way, and hurry, hurry, hurry. All righty then. There we go. Back at it again. But like, yeah. So where I was going with this is that Christian and Filippo hit pretty much a lot of the things right on the head. You know, you're isolating, you're segmenting the network, you're also disabling certain things, as well as you're working on activating the response team. Now, one thing I will say is, looking at both of these, what's one thing that we're missing? And it's the thing that we're looking at in the logs. We're not initiating or kicking off the EDR. You have to remember, we have to kick off the EDR tools in order to help prevent for future, issues. Whew, I'm out of breath. So the way I would put it is, let's see, disconnecting. All right, so you would disconnect affected systems like we had mentioned already. I don't know how to type today. Disconnecting affected systems and IoTs. Ooh, Kickbun, yes. On the network. Shutting down relevant ports. Yeah, ports would work. I mean, anything with network in general. I mean, you would just disconnect in general, in the hindsight. Utilizing. So you could, but you'd also have to think too, if you're blacklisting it on the firewall, wouldn't it also involve having to blacklist the port number too that's accessing it, right? There you go. Let's see, John Miguel. I'd like to add Filippo's response. How can we detect a malware if it's AI driven? When I learn antivirus detection malware based on known signature, but what if the malware keeps changing the signature? Yeah, actually, that's actually a very good observation and question, right? So John Miguel brings up a good point here, right? So how can we detect malware if it's AI driven, right? So if malware itself is based on known signatures and the malware itself is changing its signature, right? For this case, or at least if that was the case, right? Wouldn't it be harder for the antivirus to detect that malware, right? So then the only reason the attacker would disable any type of antivirus is that so it can deploy more malware with its known signature. So how would we balance that out? If it's AI driven, doesn't the signature change consistently or does it stay the same? And if it doesn't, why would the attacker need to change or remove or disable the antivirus? Is the signature still the same or not? I feel like that's kind of like one of those hypotheticals, John Miguel. If you think about it, because if it is, a known signature and it still disables it, what's going to stop it from preventing the attack? So IoTs, geez, I don't know how to spell today. From the network. All right. Let's see what else. So network segmentation. So network segmentation to contain and limit. Contain and limit. Let's see, what else do we have? Disable. So we would disable and block external comms from compromised devices, right? To avoid any data transfers. You also have to activate the IR team. something that Malik kind of went over briefly. The IR team, the incident response team, is its own department that would have to immediately respond and activate them and say, "Hey, look, hey, this is what's going on. This is what's happening. We found it from the logs. This is where its entry point. This is where we're finding where its exit point is. We need to figure out what's going on from here to here. Attack it. Figure it out." Right? So activate the IR team and let them know what we found. So letting them know what was found and ensure a structured response. And then deploying, one thing I would do is deploying the EDR tools, right? To be able to, oops, I don't know how to spell that. I'm telling you, on tools, to help identify and newt. I'm just gonna abbreviate today. Malware of comp endpoints. Right, that's typically what you would want to do. All right, and for response question number 2, right? So outline the steps for recovering affected systems and data, including the use of EDR solutions and blockchain verification. What kind of steps would we take here? Right. So what's the steps for recovery? What do you folks think? How would we recover over everything that's happened using the EDR tools and any type of blockchain verification? Yes, that would be one step for sure. So system scans for restore, conform containment. Yep. Sweet Jesus, my daughter, I swear. Eradicate malicious code, restore systems. Nice. Okay, I like that. Let's see, Filippo, fire up EDR solutions, wipe out malware, roll back data from secure backups, and double check the blockchain records. Make sure no funny business went down before we bring back online. Yes, Nick. Perfect. We got to make sure we change them passwords. Make sure no password 123s. So with a IR team active, threat assessment and prioritization, yes, that's actually very good. Prioritization is always a good thing to think of or consider. There we go. Hello, Evelyn. Thank you for jumping in on that one. And Doug, yes, we have to document things. That's the way to go. How are we going to be able to tell the rest of the team? How are we going to be able to keep track of what we're doing in order for them to know for future references, right? If this were to happen again, if our tools are failing, we haven't done updates, we haven't mitigated any type of, testing and such. What about the documentation? Where did everything go? Where did all of our information and notes go? Nowhere, because we didn't document it. So if you document it, you're keeping track of what you're doing. You're letting the rest of the team know, hey, this is what I got from point A to point B. I need you to do point C to D, and so on and so forth. So you get every department involved to throw documentation in, and therefore it makes sure everybody is CYA. They're covering their behinds. I don't want to say the other word because I'm being respectful. Let's see, Eddie, you said they compromised the blockchain logs and not the actual blockchain, correct? That is correct. It looks like the logs were the ones that are affected, not the blockchain itself, because it's changing what the information is on those logs. At least that's what I'm understanding from the previous information on the other pages. You can go back and double check that just in case. If not, please correct me. I don't mind being wrong. All right. Anyone else have any other ideas for steps to take? Any recoveries for the recoveries? I don't know how to speak and spell today. I'm glad that you got lots of good information there. All right. All right. So let's start off with a few ideas here. So what about system restoration, right? So we got to do system restoration first, at least in my opinion. We got the restore. System restore. Now removals. All right, we got to do removals of malware. You don't type slow, Nicole. It's okay. Or Nick. It's okay. As long as if you're typing single fingers at a time, it's perfectly fine. Oh, Jesus. Okay. I'll be right back. Just quick moment here. I have to double check to see what my daughter's doing. She's downstairs. I hear things being moved, and I heard a toilet flush because I have a toilet down here in my basement, luckily. So bear with me. I'll be right back.
Hi everyone, it's Evelyn. I'm gonna hop in while Matthew is checking on everything. Hey Austin! Um, hey. I see some familiar names. Okay, not to get off track because I easily will. So the steps for recovery, I see that you all have provided some great answers. Some steps to recovery, we would use some backups. I saw someone say that you would deploy the EDR solutions. Let me see, patching. You guys talked about the logs being the ones that were compromised, and then we also want to continue monitoring the systems. Matthew, I was just holding the line for you while you were checking on the babies.
It's okay. That's my only threat detection here. She's my only threat, and I have to detect when she is.
That's hilarious.
Exactly. But yes, patching is definitely something we need to consider too, as Evelyn says, because we have to make sure that we have the latest and the greatest updates as of right now, right? Uh, let's see, Filippo, you just you put, I did forget to mention that I'd monitor the network for any other suspicious activities and backup data in case. Yep, of course. I'm gonna put it as politely as possible, Eddie. I can neither confirm nor deny things are lost down the toilet, but I will say that I think she went and used the bathroom like a good big kid, so I think we're good for now. But yes, Filippo, you are correct. Monitoring the network is always good to ensure that it is still stable. There's nothing happening. Nobody's doing anything crazy. And yeah, you're protecting yourself from things going, Armageddon style or even, day after tomorrow kind of thing where things freeze over and then boom, everybody's being destroyed somehow. Right. But yes, you would think, removals, you got your firmware updates. You also have what about blockchain verifications, right? Right. We got to make sure blockchain's still good and it's functioning properly without any issues. You also have to think too, as we mentioned with Evelyn, you have to do your security patches. Oops, I don't know how to spell that. I'm telling you, security patch. And then, as Filippo mentioned, monitoring. You always have to make sure that everything is functioning and fluctuating at its necessary capacity without causing any further issues for the rest of the team, right? And you ensure that the rest of the team is kept up to date. Hey, the network connection here is not segmented properly. Can you double check that? Can you do this, this, and that? You're communicating fluidly with the rest of your team, and therefore not causing any issues and or problems. How do you guys feel? Feeling good? Is it too much? Did I come back? Did I need to throw a little bit more? I gotta make sure. I know I don't have the good amount of information as Malik does and the experiences and such as him, but hey, different walks, different talks, right? Thank you, Evelyn. Appreciate it. Thank you, Edwig and Filippo. All right. Ooh, can I see segment the affected areas further so they can, yep, correct. That is correct. You got that. Nice. All right. I'm going to move on to the next question. We good with that? Awesome. All right. So next discussion question number 2. So, following a recent data breach involving IoT devices, management has requested an overhaul on the incident response plan. So, the IR plan, right? So, we have to identify and discuss the essential components that should be included on a comprehensive IR plan to address vulnerabilities on the IoT ecosystems, right? So, what do we need as the sense of essential components for the IR plan in IoT systems? Yes, we definitely have to identify who. Identification is definitely one of them.
A Pokemon. It's a Pokemon.
Yes, Lily, it is Pokemon. Oh, goodness. All right. Yes, it really is, Evelyn. Lily, Lily, come here. Lily, come here. Come here. Can you say hi?
Hi.
There. Oh, that's enough. Oh,
Hi again. Hi.
yes, you did.
Hi.
Easy with the screaming. Sorry about that, guys. There, I'll turn down my mic just a little bit. I feel like that was a little loud, and I apologize for everybody's ears who are probably bleeding now. She loves jumping on camera and on mics, so you'll see her frequently, hopefully during our review sessions. All right, so to kind of like kick it off here for everybody, so you have to prepare, you have to identify, you also have to contain and eradicate, right? Those are your top four, at least in my perspective, to kind of kick it off here, right? So you have to prepare. What do we have to prepare for, right? What are we preparing for? We have to, the roles, like what are we preparing for? The roles, the policies, who's responsible for what, and what part in the IRs that we are going to give for the for IoT devices. Yeah, you could also do that too. You can do that as far as making sure all the documentation is proper, making sure that everybody's aware with what the playbook has now for future, issues or problems that arise. So yeah, that would be one of them. John Miguel, risk assessment, asset inventory. Okay. Identify and document. And then outdated firmware, weak creds, insecure network. Yep, Evelyn, recovery steps as well. We got to make sure that we have the proper steps to take. And then the post-incident reviews and analysis, current plan, report, encounter, identify how the incident was not covered in current plan and revise. Yeah, you always want to look at what we currently have in place, review what went wrong from it, take out the unnecessary, and throw in the proper one. And yes, more awareness and training. Evelyn brings on a good one. Let's see here. Ooh, Filippo, again for the clutch of prepping. So crew trained on IoT security and run regular checks. Listen, you're not typing slow. You're typing perfectly fine. And I speak fast and I type slow and I sometimes flip it and reverse it here, Missy Elliott style. Detection and analysis, containment, eradication, recovery. Ooh, you killed 3 steps right there. Very nice, very nice. Communication, definitely. Post-incident review, yes. And I think the only thing that you forgot to there, Filippo, was the training and awareness that we mentioned with Evelyn. You also have to continue training people, right? Keeping them aware of what's going on, making sure that they're aware. Hey, look, this is what's going to happen if this, this goes on again. You guys need to be prepared for XYZ situation because ABC. I know I'm using like alphabet term here, but I know that I hope that it makes sense for you all here. Kenai says lessons learned to reduce likelihood of the same breach happening again. Yes, that would fall under, I want to say, training and awareness. So that would be training for the employees and everybody. And then Bhavin says regulatory compliance. Yes, that would fall more along the lines of, I want to say, maybe containment and preparation. I want to say, Evelyn, what's your take on that one in the sense of regulatory compliance? Do you think that would fall more on like in prep and containment, or is that more like post incident review? I would say prep. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I feel like that would be more like prepping, making sure that we're following compliance and we're basically ensuring that everything is protected. Yeah, I know. I know. It's perfectly fine. You're typing. You're typing. That's what matters the most here. All right. Anybody else feel free to answer? Or if not, type it out, throw it into chat. Let's see, Josh, you said maintaining compliance with evidence handling guidelines. Yes. I feel like that would still fall under preparation, but it would be one of the post-incident reviews. Yeah, and you just forgot one, legal. It's okay. 1 out of 7, 8. 1 out of 8. Not bad. It's okay. All right, I'm gonna move on to the next question here, or at least the next part. Let's see what we got. All right. So prevention and recommendations. Oh, Edwig. Okay. So limit access. Yeah, limiting access would be one thing to consider too, because limiting the access to, if anything, to one person or one department could mean, better security. But you also have to think too, if you limit the access, what's going to happen? Could it mean that somebody else from the department is going to ask you for access? Or is it going to be like this main person needs to limit the access for myself or this other person? Like it's a hit and miss, right? It's a hit and miss. All right, so prevention and recommendations. For the recommendations, question 1, what advanced security measures and policies would you propose to prevent the reoccurrence of similar incidents? Consider endpoint protection, threat intelligence platforms, and network segmentation for IoT devices. So what would be the proposed advanced security measures? So audits would definitely be one. You would have to do a lot of the regular security audits for the systems, as well as vulnerability assessments in order to identify and mitigate any of the risks. What else? Update parameters of the monitoring system. Yes. That would be, I would feel like more along the lines of, I'm trying to think here. Updating parameters of monitoring systems. I think that would kind of fall under like an automated patching system that you can do or create, for any future, things to prevent this from. Endpoint protection. I mean, that's, you're considering it, but what part of it would you do? Would it be just normal enhanced, or no, sorry, would it be normal endpoint protection? Would it be enhanced? Would it be, to the extreme? What kind of endpoint protection are we talking about, Bobbin? Because you have to think too, with endpoint protection, you would have to implement those solutions for you would have to you would often have to think about implementing those solutions for machine learning as well as the capabilities of it, on top of making sure that it's able to detect and respond to all those threats in real time, right? MFA is definitely one in the sense of access controls, right? So actually no, would it be access controls? Evelyn, steer me right here if I'm thinking this correctly. But would MFA? Yeah, okay, gotcha. Okay, so yeah, MFA would be more along the lines of access control. I'm glad that we're on the same page here. So that would be one of them too. And then Bava Nice. Advanced endpoint protection. Yeah, I mean you could do that. Advanced, enhanced. I mean, it kind of all means almost the same. It means in the same parallel of it all. But yeah, that's what it would be. Definitely. Anybody else? Again, Filippo with the answers. Hopefully you don't miss one this time. I'm joking. I'm totally joking. I apologize. So getting some solid EDR tools, keeping a close eye on all endpoints, especially those IoTs, jumping on threats fast, using TIP. Yep, that's correct, to stay ahead of the game by analyzing real-time threat data and sharing intel so we know what's coming. That's actually really good. Putting IoT devices on their own network. So network segmentation. We talked about this already in the previous question, not the discussion one, but the one before that, right? So network segmentation. So that way, in a sense, it's on its own and we can there identify it a lot faster, right? And then making it harder for attackers to get in. And that's true, right? So you have to think that too. So now adding on to that, what about the updates that you have to do, Filippo? How would we mitigate that process? Would it be automated? Would it be manual? Would it be scheduled? Right? That would be one. And I think that you're also including what I believe Kickpan put is the MFA, right? Which is more of the access control. So you have to think that you have to be more, robust with that. And yes, Evelyn, exactly right. We have to do automatic patching. So that way we know, hey, look, latest and greatest just came out. All right, cool. Throw it into the mix now. All right. One other thing too we got to think is the audits. What about auditing stuff? We have to keep track of everything, right? The assets and management of everything that we have in our systems. What do we have enabled? What do we have disabled? What's accessing what? Right? We have to ensure that we have regular security audits in order to assess any vulnerabilities that are happening within our system now or in the future and mitigate whatever risks may happen. Anybody else? Now I'll start picking up people. I'm kidding. All right. So one way to put it is, done. Okay, sorry. Implement microsegmentation to minimize lateral movement. Yes, that's a good way. That's a good way of putting it. Yes, that would be definitely that would fall definitely underneath the network segmentation, because then you would kind of separate things a lot easier and in smaller increments, so that way it's more manageable. But then wouldn't that mean that you're spreading yourself a lot thinner, especially if you're micro segmenting it? But if to put it in the way that I understood it is, you would have enhanced, right? Enhanced. Oh my goodness, I don't know how to spell today. Enhanced EDR or ER or EP, the endpoint protection, right? Using the advanced EDR solutions. Then you have your tip, right? That we talked about earlier. Okay, implemented in GFW. All right, so you would also do TIP to analyze the multiple sources, the network segmentation that we talked about. You also have your audits on top of the access controls. And then your automated patching. those are some of the things that you would take, the security measures and such, in order to prevent any type of occurrence of this happening yet again. All right. So the next question is, what employee training initiatives would you recommend to increase awareness of AI-driven threats and IoT security best practices? Yes, definitely. Phishing email awareness. That's a very good one. That's like, at least in my perspective, that's like the top number one, right? So that's a good one. What else? Staying up to date on knowledge of its evolving capabilities. I like that one, Charles. That's good. Best practices. Yeah, best practices. I like that too. What are we doing in order to ensure that we're protecting ourselves, in the sense of IoT devices? Yeah. It would fall under, I want to say, incident response procedures, right? For reporting irregular IoT devices. Hedwig with the bold response there, making sure all data is encrypted and securely stored. I mean, yeah, but it's more along the lines of like the training initiatives that you would give, right? So are you training people to make sure that all the data is encrypted and making sure that it's securely stored? Oh Lord, here we go. Let's see, Filippo, regular workshops and seminars. Yeah, that's
Giraffe.
uh online training modules. Yep, that's definitely it. Phishing simulations, hands-on training, awareness campaigns, and incidents response drills. Sorry. Reporting defective devices, proper use of devices, strong password use, and change quarterly. Yes. It looks like Filippo, you stuck around the sense of like the continuous learning, fishing, like being able to be aware of what's going on and such, and then processing that into, obviously the training, making sure everybody's aware and such. So that's actually really good. Um, Joshua, you also have that same one too. Sorry, my daughter just decided to pick off my Fast and Furious Dominic Toretto Lego car. So if you see me crying, you'll know why. Um, um, let's see. You see something, say something. Yeah, I mean that could be also too. Joshua reporting defective. Yes, Joshua, not the family. Reporting defective devices, proper use of devices, and strong word password, and change quarterly. Um, that would fall along the lines of like incident response as well as best practices, I would say. So it's kind of like in the mix of the two. And then Doug, you're saying training personnel on a regular reporting irregular IoT devices. So that's IoT best practices. Um, so that would basically mean exactly what you and Nick basically are meeting in the middle for, see something, say something, if something's happening, say it, get it out of the way. Otherwise, things could happen, right? So it looks like it's in a consensus. It's phishing awareness. It's IoT best pract, right? You also have in my perspective, you also have to be threat aware, right? And that's for AI stuff. Called it. I called it. She broke it. Yes, give me that piece. Thank you. So you broke it. how it goes. Yep, there it is. You gotta lift this up. That's where you put them in there. So continuous tabletop exercise and penetration tests to track vulnerability. That's another one too. So threat aware, you have to be also for any AI driven threat awareness. You also have your IR procedures and practices, and then your continuous learning. Thank you. Let's see. Yes, Nick, I think that's also a good one too. A good consideration is that you also have to keep reporting a reporting tool in order to identify and track any unusual activity, right? Oh, sweet Jesus. She's already broken this. What did you do? Oh, sweet. Yes, that is correct. Thank you, everyone, for the assist on that one. I apologize. Working from home is a blessing and a curse in disguise when it comes to this whole thing with my daughter and my other son as well. But hey, who's counting, right? All right. So I'm going to move on to the next question. It looks like these are multiple choice. All right. And I know that most of these for you all are probably shuffled. So we'll start off little by little. Yes, can I? I am at this point. I mean, it's a Lego car. It ain't nobody gonna miss it. Right? If I lose a piece, I lose a piece. Whatever. That's why Lego.com exists. And that way I can go on there and say, hey, I'm missing this piece. Piece C35 color B, you know, whatever. They can send you pieces, just FYI. If you're missing stuff, it's almost like IKEA, I guess. With IKEA, you can kind of do the same thing. You can almost build yourself a brand new desk if you wanted to. I mean, my two desks are IKEA Galant style desks. So just saying. All right. So question one, multiple choice. I'm assuming everybody has different ways of seeing this. Are you guys seeing this in a decent size? Do you want me to zoom in a little bit so we can kind of help each other out here? Zoom. All righty then. Zoom it is. How's that? I think that's big enough, right? How are we feeling? Is that okay? Is that a decent size? Thumbs up? Perfect. All right. So question number one, obviously the answer is going to be, like I said, shuffled. So just put in if you want like the first three words or maybe even just the whole answer if you want into the chat. But here we go. Secure Tech Solutions networks or network has been compromised by a sophisticated ransomware attack utilizing AI-driven tactics. What is the most critical immediate action to take in order to mitigate the spread and impact of the attack? So isolate the compromised systems from the network. And here's what I'm going to do because I know that we are probably not going to be able to see this in clear color. So avert your eyes, children, and everybody here because it's going to be really bright. 3, 2, 1. There we go. That way we can see it in full-fledged color. And that way, too, if I hit check, we can see the color, too. All right. So isolate the compromised systems from the network. Ready? Looks like everybody's in unanimous that so far. All right. 1, 2. Anybody else? Any different answers? Anybody here? No? All right. Ooh, Ed. Oh, wait, Edwig, are you saying the same answer here? Isolated the compromised systems from the network, or are you saying inform all stakeholders and advise them to shut down their systems? You gotta remember, everybody's answers are probably going to be shuffled up or a little bit different. So you're confused. Okay, so you have to think about it too. It's like before we communicate with the stakeholders, right? We have to isolate the stuff. Or do we initiate a full system restore once this happens, right? Like you need to give us the most critical and immediate action to take in order, right? That's exactly right, Evelyn. Most critical and immediate action. What is it that we have to take immediately when this happens? There we go. Yep, isolate. All right, I'm gonna hit check it. Look at that. It is in green. Awesome, awesome stuff. All right, we're all good. Moving on to the next question. Question number 2. Which of the following scenarios most likely indicates a security vulnerability in an IoT device? So the device is encrypted, device's firmware is regularly updated, the device's communication communicates with unknown external servers. Ooh, okay. So far 3. We got 3 so far. We're saying it's this one right here, number 3. Device communicates. All right, all right. Looks like everybody's being very unanimous on this one. Here we go. Ooh, can I? Oh, well, actually, never mind. You did kind of put the same one. You just abbreviated it a little bit differently. I swear. All right. Checking in 3, 2, 1. Checking. Look at that. Device communicates with unknown external servers without authorization. That's correct. Good job, everybody. Question number 3. In the context of modern cybersecurity practices, which tool is primarily utilized for integrating and analyzing threat intelligence data from various sources? Meta, Nmap, TIP, or Wireshark? So it looks like we're all saying TIP here. Austin, I love the way you abbreviated that. Threat Intel Plat. Sounds like a level in Call of Duty. Nice. All right, so far I've got pretty much a good standing here out of the 26 in the queue. Let's check it. Are we sure? Are we positive? Let's check it. Nice. We got it correct. Look at that. It is TIP. Question number 4. What is the primary advantage of using EDR solutions in an organization's security strat? Real-time monitoring from Tamisha. Nick saying the same thing. Looks like Joshua too. So we say real-time monitoring and automated response to threats. Real-time, real-time. RTMon. Yep, yep, yep. All right, cool. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. Perfect. Very nice, very nice. All right, question number 5. Ooh, multiple choice. We got multiple choice, but multi-select. So there goes a piece, whatever. All but disabling. Oh, Tamisha, okay. You say all but disabling. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Come on, select it. There we go. So we're saying all of these with disabling endpoint. Okay. We got 3 so far. Filippo, very, very astute of you. I concur. All right, so we're saying all of them except that one. So let's see, implementing, regularly updating. Looks like we also have conducting and limiting. All right, here we go. Checking. BEA, beautiful. My money's on Tamisha. Yes, of course. All bets are off. Okay, Tamisha, you're our go-to person. Okay, now you have to answer for everybody. I'm sorry. That's just the way the rules work here. You just got to be in my queue. Now you got to be the one to answer it for everybody. See? One of us. One of us. It's okay. Promotion go crazy. See, Evelyn's got a vote of confidence for you. There you go. All right, so this is a fill in the blank. Mind you, folks, this is exactly, if not something similar to what you'll experience within your cybersecurity test, Security Plus test. You have your multiple choice, you have your multi-select, as well as fill in the blank. So for this fill in the blank, a blank is a sophisticated type of malware that restricts access to data or systems, typically through encryption, and demands a ransom of the decryption key. Look at that, Filippo. You answered it. Let's see. Ransomware? Is that what it is? Ransomware. Ransomware. The ransom. If he didn't walk somewhere, he ran somewhere. But bump. Jokes for days. All right, here we go. Check, check, check. BEA. Beautiful. Nice. All right. Ooh, drop down question. That was crazy. That was crazy. What was crazy, Josh? My silly idiotic joke that I just said right now. Listen, you got it right, even if you spelt it wrong. The closer you get, the easier it makes it. Don't worry about it. Just don't be wary of how you do that on your actual test. You do have to spell it right because I think they do spell checking on stuff. Don't quote me on that one. I haven't taken the 701. I took the 601 before they excommunicado it. All right. And I know I'm pressing everybody for time here. I know we kind of gone a little bit longer than expected, so I apologize. I know you all want to probably take a break or something, but I think we're almost about done here. All right, so we are at question 7. Or do you guys want to take a quick, 5, 10 real quick, take a breather, stretch our legs, get some water, drink some coffee? Ooh, Austin, no breaks. Ooh, I don't know. Keep it going, plow ahead. Ooh, okay. All right, all right. If you guys want to keep going, we keep going. Evelyn raised this right. Evelyn, were you working them to the bone again? I told you be nice. I just kidding. I just kidding. I just kidding. We said pen test. Okay. So, question 7. Let's go. All right. Question 7. The process of systematically examining a computer system or network to uncover security weaknesses and vulnerabilities is known as pen testing. So, penetration testing. Looks like that. Joshua said pen testing. Okay. Tamisha, Filippo, Christian. All right. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. Beautiful. All right. Question number 8. We're chugging along. Question 8. Which of the following methods is the most effective in preventing unauth access to the networked IoT devices? What are we saying, folks? Disabling network encryption, regular updating, using default passwords, implementing network segmentation. What are we saying? Think about it. Following methods is most effective in the prevention of unauth access of networked. Big one. Ooh, I'm getting some mixed answers here, okay? So let's see. I got 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 on network segmentation, implementing network segmentation. Okay, so we got pretty much almost everybody's getting network segmentation. Okay. Ooh, regularly updating Nick. Regularly updating the firmware. Remember, look at keywords. I'm helping you guys out for 701 here. Networked, keywords, networked devices. You got to separate the network, right? So we're saying separating or implementing network segmentation. Looks like everybody's there. You ready, Nick? You ready for this? Yeah, there you go. All right, cool. Here we go. Green, implementing network segmentation. Perfect, perfect. Question number 9. A recent data breach of SecureTech Solutions revealed vulnerabilities in the company's 5G infrastructure. Which of the following security measures would best address these vulnerabilities? Ooh, Tamisha's already answering for everybody. Robust encryption. Robust encryption. Josh was doing it too. Bhavin. All right, cool. So we got 3. Anyone else? Keep going. Keep it going. Perfect. Perfect. All right. We getting robust. Robust. All right. Give it another few seconds here. All right. Looks like money's on Tamisha. Joseph being super sus with the robust. I mean, as long as it's not robotussin. Anyways, I have got terrible jokes. I will be here the rest of the year. Know well that I have terrible jokes, and therefore that makes me a dad, apparently. All right, implementing robust encryption protocols for 5G. Let's go. Green is go. Perfect. Good job, guys. You're getting good at this, guys and gals. I'm addressing everybody here. Funnier people have higher IQs. Careful now. You're going to inflate whatever ego I have left, and then I'll out of here. Question number 10. Which of the following is a primary benefit of using self-sovereign identity? Sorry, I don't know why I read that as identify. SSI system in cybersecurity. Looks like everybody's saying so far reduced resilience. Not resilience, reliance. Wow. Anyways, this should be coffee, not water. 20 on Tamisha. Ooh, 20. I try to be resilient. I just don't know how my network defenses are. Terrible jokes, I'm telling you. Looks like reduced reliance on centralized identity providers. Looks like we got that in 20s on Tamisha again. Tamisha, you feeling lucky? Do you, punk? Anyways, here we go. Check it. Beautiful. Look at that. Reduced reliance on centralized identity providers. And why is that? The world may never know. All right, question number 11. Right. During a security audit, it was discovered that several blockchain transactions were tampered with. What is the most likely method used to alter these records? That 51% attack. Sure, it's not phishing. Go fish. 51. 51. Looks like 51. All right, 51%. Let's see what happens. Check it. Nice. 51%. Good job, everybody. We're getting better at this. We're getting better at this. I'm not giving you the answers, I hope. I'm not sharing anything on my screen like I used to. Anyways, either that or I was probably being hacked. I don't know. It was probably Evelyn throwing the answers on my screen. But again, who knows? Question number 12. Question number 12. Which of the following best describes a TIP, a threat intelligence platform, a tool used for encrypting sensitive data? A system that collects and analyzes threat data from multiple sources. Collects and analyzes. Okay. Looks like everybody's on the same platform here for the answer. I think that that's actually a fair one. But you also have to think too, and this is for future prepping you all, okay? Sometimes the longest answer may not be the right answer. Not in this case. I feel like it could be correct too, but you have to be wary. Always analyze what you're reading and how you're answering these questions, especially on the Security Plus test, okay? All your answers are reflected on what you're reading from the question, right? And what you remember from the acronyms and abbreviations, okay? But for this case here, we're saying that is a system that collects and analyzes threat data from multiple sources to improve cybersecurity defenses, right? So we're going to go ahead and click on check it. And here we go. Perfect. That is the correct answer. But again, I'm telling you all for future reference, be wary of the answers that you select when you're doing your test. It may be the longest. It may not be the right one. You might want to double check and triple check your stuff when you're doing these things. Just trying to help, I hope. Not trying to scare you off though, okay? You guys got this. I know and I believe that you all will pass it, okay? Yeah, the ACT. ACT. I don't know why I said S. Ugh, I'm telling you. Anyways, what is the primary function of EDR solutions in a cybersecurity framework? RTD. We're saying it is RTD, real-time detection. Nice. Very nice. All right. I'm going to put my money this time on Kickpan, okay? Sorry, Tamisha. It's not your turn right now. I'm going to put my money on Kickpan. He said it too, but he just wrote 2 more words. I'm just kidding. All right. Real-time detection and response endpoint threats. Here we go. Pro auto real. I don't know why that sounds like an auto shop now, Austin. I'm thinking auto shop parts. Pro auto real. Here we go. Perfect. Providing automated real-time detection. Look at you, Kickpan. You just won another 20 credits for our imaginary credit system. I don't know. All right. Multiple selection. All right. Select all that apply. What are the benefits of deploying a tip? Ooh. Evelyn's putting money on you again, Bhavin. Let's see. On an organization cybersecurity infrastructure, select all that apply. All but, Tamisha's already answering. Let's see. Reduced and simplified. Okay. Reduced. And so we're saying everything but. So everything but. So, let me go through here. Centralized. Okay. We're saying centralized. We're saying improve. Oh, okay. There we go, Joshua. Improve. Centralized and enhance. Ooh, okay. You're saying enhanced. Okay. Right. Looks like a. One second. On question. Oop. All right. Everyone good? All right, here we go. B-E-A. Beautiful. All right. And it looks like we're on our final and yet last question. I know you want to get rid of me. I know you all want to go away. It's perfectly fine. I understand. Question number 15. Drum roll, please. Which of the following techniques can be used to enhance the security of a blockchain network? Employing, implementing regularly. So regularly, employing, and implementing. Ooh, Austin, close it out. Let's see what we got. He's already nervous. He's laughing. Listen to me. You don't understand. You got this. Get to the final answers. Oh, he already finished it? Evelyn, are you spying on him? Did you install spyware? Oh, wrong Austin. Wait, is there two different? Is there more than one Austin in the group? Uh-oh, I'm scared. Oh my. Captain Sulu or whatever his name is from Star Trek, I think. Ah, noted. Noted. Welcome to the Goblin Crew. All right, so we are saying employing, implementing, and regularly. Are we all in unanimous agreement with any Austin and as well as Tamisha here? All right, let's check it. Beautiful. It is correct. Yeah, I don't know what my daughter is asking me to do, but looks like that's my cue from her. All right, guys. Y'all did really good. That was awesome. I hope everybody did a great job here and was able to grasp the understanding of what we experienced today in the IoT as well as AI framework of things. So in this lab, we obviously navigated through the complex cybersecurity scenario involving emerging tech of AI, IoT, tip, endpoints, detection and response, as well as SSI, 5G, and blockchain. So by engaging in this type of exercise today, we've developed a deeper understanding of the multifaceted nature of modern cyber threats and strats required to mitigate them, right? So make sure that you take the takeaways on here is identifying your threats, your incident response, your type of advanced security measures, as well as the employee training that you have to basically get and give out to those employees and those people, right? Make sure you're aware of these, and I hope that helps. Thank you, Evelyn. I appreciate it. It was fun learning this too. I love refreshing my memory on this one. Yes, of course. You're more than welcome to do it. As soon as the recording is done, I will go ahead and post it into resources. It'll be labeled. And again, feel free to touch base with your TAs. Make sure you touch base with them. Schedule some time with them. Go over anything that you may be confused or scared of not knowing for your Security Plus test. Okay, everybody? That's what we're here for. We're here to help you out. You guys are going to pass this. You all are superstars no matter what. Okay? I don't care what anybody says, no matter which Austin replies to this and what Tamisha would tell you, or even what Filippo knows how to answer here. Okay? You guys have a good rest of your day. You are all free to go. Yes, my money is all on all of them too, no matter what. All right. You guys have a wonderful rest of your day. You are free to go. Study, study, study. Do what you got. And like I said, catch you on the flip side. Shout out to the other Austin. All right. Take care, folks.